Good morning, Mets fans, and welcome to a Thursday edition of Driving with Mr. Met. Another day and the same results for the Metropolitans, winning their 8th consecutive game to improve to 10-1 on the season. Best record in baseball. I'm pinching myself every day, every night, every game, because it just doesn't seem like anything can go wrong for the Mets. Of course, that's not true, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. After being no-hit for 6 innings last night, and a hat tip to Don Mattingly for pulling his starting pitcher after 68 pitches or whatever. Thanks, Gabe. Don Mattingly doing his best Gabe Kapler impression there. But anyway, after 6 innings of being no-hit, the Mets came to life against the Marlins bullpen. They were trailing 1-0 at the time, but as they have done all season, the Mets came up when they needed to, came up big when they needed to, got even, got ahead, and never looked back when they needed to. Last night, once again, a team effort. No home runs to score the runs. It was a mix of good at-bats, good base running, Jay Bruce's attempted steal of third base notwithstanding. But it was another team effort, a team victory last night, and again, the Mets improved to 10-1. Zach Wheeler gets the game ball last night. I've been sour on Zach Wheeler. I haven't been a huge Wheeler fan. I've felt like there's always been so much potential there, but wasted in that he nibbles a little bit too much. He gets a little bit too fine and throws too many pitches. And he went down to AAA. He accepted his demotion like a man. Clearly, he worked on something. Changing his mechanics is what the word is on that. Ron Darling actually made a comment about it during the game last night early on, and he said, I don't know how much you can really change about your mechanics in just one AAA start, basically like 2 weeks of seasoning there. But whatever Wheeler did, it worked. He was the first Mets starting pitcher of the season to go beyond the 6th inning. He pitched 7 frames. Wheeler was fantastic last night. A tiny little stumble in the first inning, giving up that home run to Rojas, Miguel Rojas, I think is his name. I always call him Cookie, but other than that, Zach Wheeler was just absolutely filthy dominant last night, and he turns the ball over to the filthiest dominant member of the bullpen, Robert Gsellman, who looks like a completely different pitcher. He looks like an absolute beast coming out of the bullpen. He's untouchable. 3 more strikeouts last night for him. Coming up roses, again, the Mets. Mickey Callaway goes to Adrian Gonzalez, who ends up driving in the 2 runs to put the Mets in front with a base hit off a lefty. And he goes with his veteran bat off the bench, and Gonzo comes up big, and Mickey Callaway continues to look like a genius, pushing all the right buttons. But, and here's the but part, it's not all sunshine and lollipops. Yesterday afternoon, there was the announcement made that Travis d'Arnaud was going to go on the disabled list, and that Thomas Nido was coming up from AAA to take his spot. And the prognosis for d'Arnaud is not good. Travis has a partially torn UCL, which means, as we all unfortunately know, the likely result will be Tommy John surgery for Travis. And if that's the case, he will miss the season, I would imagine. I can't imagine him coming back before the end of the season if he does end up requiring Tommy John surgery. So, mid-afternoon yesterday, we all sort of said, okay, we can weather this storm. Plawecki's been good this year. Plawecki will now handle all of the catching duties, and Nido will be the backup. And what happens last night, of course, Plawecki gets absolutely crushed, drilled in the hand. Like a minute after, he has a giant black and blue mark on the top part of his catching hand, his left hand. He stayed in the game. He ran the bases. He scored the tying run last night, but he did not stay in the game. He came out for the 8th inning. Nido came in, and X-rays negative on Plawecki's hand, so that's good news. but the comment was made about what are they going to do if Plawecki has to go on the DL too, and they'll have to add Jose Lobaton to the 40-man roster and call him up to be the backup catcher to Thomas Nido, who I would imagine would take on the full-time catching responsibilities. That's a big blow because the pitching staff has been working so well with both Plawecki and d'Arnaud over the first 11 games of the season. It's tough for another young catcher to come in and step in and have there be no hiccups as a result. So potential cause for concern there with Plawecki perhaps being unavailable, either sitting out a day or two, or worst case scenario going on the DL. The good news again is that the x-rays were negative, no broken bones in his hand, but it did look nasty, and we do hope he speedily recovers and makes his way back to the everyday lineup. No game tonight, so the Mets can't do what they've been doing, which is winning every day, but they will play tomorrow, opening up a 3-game set with the Brewers at Citi Field. Matt Harvey on the mound, trying to rebound from his shaky start against the Nationals. It wasn't a bad start, but it was a bit shaky. We'll see if Matt can revert back to how he started the season with his game against the Phillies and pitch to that form as opposed to the form he had Sunday night in Washington. In the rest of that series, we'll have Steven Matz on Saturday and then Noah Syndergaard on Sunday. So the Mets once again poised to be in position to win a series and keep the good times rolling. Right now, again, they have the best record in baseball at 10-1, and it's very likely that they will take 2 out of 3 from the Brewers. At least that's what I'm thinking. So no game tonight, so I will not be back tomorrow, and I probably won't have a video back up until Monday after the Brewers series. So unless there's major news that breaks, about Plawecki or d'Arnaud, I'll record something about that if something comes up, but probably not until Monday. So until then, I thank you for watching. Follow me on Twitter at Mr_Met. And as always, let's go Mets.